Writing a speech is a little bit different to writing a normal article or an essay. And there's a few tips that you really should take note of if you're going to write a speech. One really good idea, and it's separate to writing the speech, in fact, is to write your own introduction. There's no doubt when you're about to give a speech that someone's going to introduce you. So it's a good idea to write them an introduction, just to make sure they get it right and they are introducing you accurately and relevant to your speech. But anyway, let's get on to some tips about writing a speech. And it's always a good idea to have a structure in your mind about what the speech is going to look like. Some people start with a problem and then talk about the solution. Other people have a bit of a headline statement, and then by way of argument or proving their point, they have key point number 1, key point number 2, key point number 3. One good tip that I've taken down, and it's against contrary opinion, is you shouldn't really start a speech with a joke. And the reason is it might fall flat. It might not work. And you've built up a certain tension in the room that is sort of a little bit stressed. If you've got a joke that didn't get the laughs that you expect, then you feel uncomfortable, you started the speech badly. Whenever I write a speech, I'll make sure that I don't include cliches. Things like frightened to death or wasted time. They're boring, they're ordinary, and they're uninteresting. So whenever you're writing a speech, try to avoid using cliches. And while we're talking about writing speeches and avoiding certain types of things, always avoid the expression very. Is very large, very big, is very funny, or even really large, really funny. Try to think of something a little bit more interesting, a little bit more attractive. That's always a good practice to avoid those words very and really. Now, speech, I find, always works well if you've got a story. And that story is often a personal story. People are really engaged if you do tell them a story and if the story is told well. And we've all got stories to tell, and there's plenty of stories out there that you can use in a speech to make your point. I like to mix up my speech. I like to introduce a poem, say, now and again, from my favourite poet, or even a song, a verse from a song. Or even at least include a quote from somebody famous. It gives it a bit of authority. It gives it a bit of interest. It mixes it up. Some people might even want to do a little bit of a dance, a little bit of movement across the stage. That'll be really brave and really risky. But whatever, your speech needs to be in plain words. Expressions need to be just how you speak. It's not an academic exercise. It's not an exercise to prove that you're brighter or smarter than anyone else. It's just an exercise to share some information or even convey a message. And always try to finish the speech with a bang. Something memorable, something that people really can take away with them. And what we often like to finish a speech with is what we call a call to action. Something where we get people to do, having heard your speech. Whether it's to go and sign up for something, or to go and protest something, or to go and vote for something, or to write you a letter or send you an email. Some sort of call to action, some sort of activity that you're beseeching them to do in that last paragraph. The last paragraph should be a summary of what you told them, and it should be perfect. If any part of the speech needs to be perfect and well memorized and well practiced, it is those final few sentences.